Saddle up, Broncos Country. Imagine if our march to the championship wasn't just defined by the rivals we face, but by a gauntlet of tactical battles that either punch our ticket to California or turn this dream into a nightmare. The Denver Broncos sit on the AFC throne with 14 dominant victories. Yet, that record is barely scratching the surface. The bracket is locked. The Wolves are at the door. But listen closely to the most vital detail. A conviction is surging through the locker room, from the top brass to the rookies, that we aren't just solid, we were forged for this moment. Yet one question sears itself into the soul of every fanatic in orange and blue. Who do we actually want in our crosshairs? And critically, which juggernauts must we dodge to ensure we hoist that silver trophy at the finish line? Before I unveil the intel I've gathered, straight from the heavy hitters in the mile-high sports scene, insiders and athletes alike, pause for a second and smash that thumbs up if you have faith in this squad's destiny. And if you bleed orange, drop a comment immediately declaring, "United in orange. We are coming for the ring." Let's cut right to the chase. Okay, let's dive into the analysis. By the numbers, our smoothest path starts with the Pittsburgh Steelers. But ignore the brand, this isn't the fearsome defense of the past. They barely crawled into the playoffs and are missing the explosive weapons and gritty toughness that is typically their trademark. They crumble against the air attack, fold against the rush, and their quarterback situation, even with the legendary Aaron Rodgers at the helm, has been shaky and completely lackluster. Sure, Rodgers is an icon, but this isn't his prime in Green Bay back in 2015. Recall when Miller and the defense strangled him to under 100 yards? Pittsburgh instills fear in nobody this season. As the analysts say, they are surprisingly fragile. They are riding on reputation while being incredibly weak. We could destroy them, gain zero experience, and advance easily. However, if you think only tough fights make you stronger, they might be a cakewalk. Let's look at the New England Patriots. Rookie signal caller Drake May is gifted. He possesses the cannon, the legs, and the swagger without question. But he forces plays, believing every snap must end in glory. That squad simply hasn't faced the fire. They are coasting on raw promise rather than postseason hardened reality. Bo Nix and our crew already felt the playoff heat in Buffalo, and that baptism by fire is priceless currency. May hasn't lived that yet. Also, their receivers are mediocre. Even if Tre'Veyon Henderson ignites the backfield, our defense can easily snuff out those sparks. Next on the docket are the Los Angeles Chargers. This is where the narrative thickens. Harbaugh has arrived. Justin Herbert is back to full strength. Sure, they'll improve from the squad we crushed. But recall, Nix only tossed one ball past 10 yards that day. Sean Payton was playing grandmaster chess while others played checkers. He kept his strategies hidden. In a second bout, anticipate the total playbook. Granted, the Bolts do have some dangerous weapons. Omarion Hampton is a brute to tackle, and Aronde Gadsden creates coverage nightmares. Yet their front line is unstable. Herbert takes more beatings than any other passer. That spells disaster against a Denver rush, hungry for easy prey. Expect a nail-biter, probably a one-score affair. But the advantage lies with Denver. Turning to the Houston Texans. That squad is volatile and wild. They boast an arsenal of threats. You've got a roster stacked with Noel, Higgins, Collins, Schultz, plus Marks and Chubb lurking in the backfield. That is a nightmare to scheme against. But here is the flaw. Their defense bleeds huge yardage, allowing 47 deep balls this season. We can capitalize on that. Peyton adores the deep game. And if Nix gets protection, he will shred that weak zone. They also falter inside the 20. Stroud is talented, but his efficiency plummets when the field shrinks. If we execute intelligently, launch deep, and minimize errors, we can absolutely take this victory. Finally, let's address the titan in the bracket, the Buffalo Bills. Their run defense is their Achilles heel, surrendering over 2,300 rushing yards and 65 explosive plays. They are breakable, but will Peyton commit to the run? That is the ultimate gamble. If J.K. Dobbins is fit, he becomes the game changer. He shifts the whole dynamic of our attack. Harvey plays with grit, yet he lacks that steady rhythm. Our timing has stuttered all season. Yet our line is elite, ranking top 5 and winning the trenches for both phases. The issue isn't the blockers, it's the runner. If Peyton pounds the rock, we can dominate possession and exhaust Buffalo. But if he forces the pass, Josh Allen will punish us. They have a crushing run game with Cook and the elite blocker Gilliam. Allen's ability to scramble remains a nightmare scenario the Broncos haven't solved all season. Which brings us face-to-face with the AFC's ultimate nightmare opponent, the Jacksonville Jaguars. They humiliated Denver earlier this year, with Lawrence throwing darts and the ground game erupting. Pass catchers dominated everywhere, breaking Denver's spirit and body. But that is ancient history. Back when the Broncos held an 11-game winning streak, perhaps hubris took over, while Jacksonville played like it was the championship. But do not count on that happening twice. Sean Payton holds a grudge, and the whole locker room marked that date. A rematch means pure vengeance. Yet, the Jags remain scorching hot and brutal, with Travis Etienne posing a massive threat, and Brenton Strange creating mismatches at tight end. Lawrence will destroy you on the ground if unchecked, though Vance Joseph claims they have fixed their containment issues. However, this stands as the final exam, because the reality is simple. Listen up. This squad possesses the weapons, mentality, and guidance to win it all. Yet the path remains treacherous regardless of the opponent. To be completely frank, the greatest danger might not actually come from the opposition. It could be Denver's internal choices, particularly regarding strategy discipline. So let's analyze this deeply, because it is crucial. Against a squad like Buffalo, the plan is obvious. Pound the rock relentlessly, giving up over 2,300 rushing yards and showing weakness against 12 personnel, one back, two tight ends makes the secret public. The tape and numbers scream it. Winning requires dominating the line of scrimmage, yet we know Sean Payton adores creativity and spreading the formation wide. Even though Bo Nix plays with remarkable efficiency, certain moments demand gritty, old-school postseason football. Smash the run game, execute suffocating defense, and dominate the time of possession. Here is where J.K. Dobbins might decide whether they book a flight to Santa Clara or suffer an early exit. Should Dobbins return for the title game, which seems increasingly probable, Denver transforms into a completely different monster. R.J. Harvey shows sparks, yet his erratic timing hitting the gaps has repeatedly stalled the offensive attack. Let's be honest. When the ground attack stalls, the burden falls on Bo, who has carried it like a seasoned pro. However, the postseason is different. Windows close faster, speed increases, and every error gets amplified. Missed chances are fatal. Yet on the defensive side, Denver truly begins to sparkle. Their pass coverage is elite, with Patrick Surtain II erasing top targets all season, acting less like a player and more like a superpower. Here lies the irony. Offenses lacking a clear alpha receiver actually neutralize Surtain's impact. Without a star to delete, one of Denver's massive tactical edges simply vanishes. Matchups become critical against squads like the Texans or Jaguars that distribute targets, as Surtain's assignment blurs, forcing the defense to strain harder. The problem of covering tight ends also continues to haunt them. Denver fights to contain tight ends, and every contender boasts a playmaker there. Returning to the Jaguars, they are the team everyone fears. They did not merely defeat the Broncos. They unmasked them by attacking the edges and pushing the tempo. They challenged Denver's physicality without a response, creating a painful lesson and a scar that now serves as fuel. Anyone believing Sean Payton has moved past that humiliation clearly does not understand the man. Should they clash again, expect him to unveil a radically altered strategic approach. A plan designed to punish Jacksonville's aggression, over-pursuit, and inexperience on the big stage. Denver's edge isn't just seeding or data. It is leadership. Bo Nix evolves weekly, and insiders confirm he is built differently, not merely in skill but in psychology. The man labeled himself a psychopath regarding his obsession with constant improvement. That specific mentality secures playoff victories, and Sean Payton already possesses the jewelry to prove it. He has survived the battles, and when comparing quarterback-coach tandems across the AFC, few are better prepared. Let's break it down. Starting with Jacksonville. Lawrence is bona fide, but Liam Cohen is untested here. Looking at Buffalo, Allen is a freak, but McDermott's seat is burning up. A single mistake could end him. Then there's Houston, where C.J. Stroud is gifted but young and facing playoff fatigue. New England features Drake May's debut. Pittsburgh is merely a brand name and the easiest matchup. Then consider the Chargers. Harbaugh remains unpredictable, while Herbert has yet to prove he can win the crucial games. This places the Broncos in a rare spot, not just as the top seed, but as the most balanced, battle-hardened squad in the conference. Yet they must demonstrate this weekly, one match at a time. So it ultimately boils down to this. Do the Broncos hunt for the easy kills? Pittsburgh, New England, maybe Houston, or do they yearn to walk through the flames? The Chargers, Bills, Jaguars, those are the wars that forge true champions and birth dynasties. If they are truly destined for glory, perhaps that is precisely the test they require. What say you, Broncos Country? Do we pray for the gentle path, Or do you demand they prove themselves against the Titans? Would you rather just face Drake?